Good evening, cross country fans, and welcome back to the IATC Exchange Zone. I'm Ben Dewey, joined alongside, as always, by my partner Kyle Wagner. And Kyle, what a week! It seems like the first full week of the season. I think everybody races week two. Nobody's resting people or taking a week off. Just a phenomenal week of weather, and we are very excited to recap it tonight. How are you doing?
Doing great. Packers week 1 win, good weekend. Got through the home meet successfully. It was a good night, and I was talking with our guest, who we'll bring in shortly. How many times in our careers have we had every meet the first 2 weeks of the season, and not even was it good temperatures this week. It was cold, like, cool, and, Saturday morning practice, I think I had a sweatshirt and a jacket on, so, uh, I was just sitting there on my lawn chair, but just perfect way to start the season.
And Kyle has made a bet or a promise. We'll call it a promise that if the Packers keep winning, he will show up in a Packers onesie here on the podcast live. So that'll
Alright.
be fun. There's our schedule for tonight. We have just we'll call him a distinguished guest, one that we've been trying to track down for a little bit. Had to yank his arm a little on Thursday at Ames, and but Cal Murdoch is joining us here in the studio, and we'll get to him in a minute. Very excited to have Cal on, just a legend in our sport of cross country and running in general in the community of the Des Moines area. We've got a lot of segments tonight, some new segments, exciting segments that we're going to try and get to as many athletes across the state and teams. We'll recap a very busy week too, and we'll get you ready for the Big Four this week. It's going to be the Big Three actually, but we'll recap or we'll preview some meets coming up. So with that. Joining us here live in the studio is Cal Murdoch. And Cal, welcome to the Exchange Zone. You've been a listener since we started, and we greatly appreciate that. And how are you doing?
Good. My arm's still sore. You pulled it quite hard on Thursday.
Well, well, I know it, and we wouldn't be here without your wife, Susan. I think she might have helped you get in the door at least, or at least plant the seed.
She's yeah. She forced me out the door this evening to come here, and she's really the face of both of us. She welcomes all the runners and coaches every day, every meet. So she's the big half, the better half.
And you guys are IATC Hall of Fame inductees as of last year. Just an incredible honor for your service and your continued service for the sport of cross country, track and field, and the running community in Iowa and more, uh, more Des Moines, Iowa, and Central Iowa based, but just an awesome accomplishment. Talk a little bit about uh, getting into the IATC Hall of Fame in that weekend in December.
Well, it was an honor. I think most of the Hall of Fame, it's like they're done with their career, and I don't want to look at it that way. So hopefully, I can continue for quite a few more years. And even though I'm based in Des Moines, I've done meets and races in Iowa City, Omaha area, Cedar Rapids a lot, Iowa City. So I try to get around. I even did Decorah
Hmm.
many years ago. So a little of every place I've tried.
Well, for those that aren't familiar with Cal, Cal's been a huge part of the cross country world in our state for the last 30, 35 years, pushing now road races as well with his timing company and really jump started timing across the state and has helped transform into what timing is now today. But let's start at the beginning and just talk to our audience. And many of them are going to recognize you when you go to a meet. Everybody knows Cal and Susan. You go and you check in, get your bibs, get your chips, and might even get a little present along the way.
That's the hope.
That's the hope. But let's talk about the beginning. When and how did you find this passion for running? And kind of where did you start?
Well, I can always relate to the back of the pack people. So my running is very recreational. Started back in the '60s. I'm kind of a student of the Frank Shorter, Bill Rogers in the day. So I eventually worked up to a marathon. I broke 3 hours my first race. I thought, "Well, let's keep doing it," but I didn't really get any better. So, it made sense to, be on the other end, race directing and, eventually timing races.
And with that timing, I can't imagine your early starting time was in the '90s, early '90s when you really started the business,
80s, 80s.
'80s in the business, okay. Talk to the audience about how you have seen the transformation in timing, and Brock will scroll down here as we go, and you're here pictured, on the screen holding a clock. Kyle and I are very impressed with that picture. Good-looking guy in
Yes.
1983 there, but talk about where the timing world started.
Well, I don't think timing has changed as much as people think. I mean, it's like running. You gotta get from the start to the finish. Timing, you gotta get everybody's time, or in cross country, everybody's place. So I still do the same thing, just in the past, it was a little more laborious. Weather was more of a factor, and it took forever. Um, Nowadays, uh, I'm fortunate I can fit everything in my little red compact car and, go from place to place, and that's my little office for the fall, and, it's all electronics, basically. I don't get the latest and greatest stuff, but I try to be highly accurate, and I think it's worked out. Um, so that's the basics.
Is your red compact car in the parking lot?
It is, it's full of stuff, and if no one hijacks it, I'm good for, the next, Thursday at Marshalltown.
Fantastic. Well, I'm gonna go off script a little bit. So what
Uh-oh.
do you do when, it's not busy season with road races? What do you like to do?
Well, I'm retired and or tired, so that works for me. I don't mind. I used to do road races all year round, and it's kind of a relief not to have to do that. So, I try to walk, bike, um, try to do lots of reading. So, basic what people do as they're retired, I guess.
Nice. I think we actually got our start, by me emailing you, uh, probably a decade ago trying to get on the Runablaze team, and you wouldn't let me on, and I bet you and that you eventually did. I bet you regret that decision now, but,
I do now,
yeah.
sitting here in the chair.
But it's been great to get to know you and Susan over these years. You time our Iowa games, cross country meet, the Clyde Running Fest, everything everything you can think of across the state. Is what got you hooked on running? Like, is there something, a memory or a time or, like, just that made you like, "Man, I love the sport." What was it?
Well, again, it was the Frank Short, and even Dick Beardsley and Bill Rogers, but I had great roommates. One ran, 5 2:14 marathons in 1 year, inspirational kinds of people. I just happened to be around a lot of people that, were a lot better than me, but, I just gravitated towards it. I'm kind of a loner of sorts, so running kind of fit me, and, I like the fact that you can just have a pair of shoes and that's it.
That's right, and that's what track guy's for, which I'll get to later. What is the greatest performance you have witnessed while timing?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I don't really think about performances that much, and sometimes I don't even know who wins. I certainly know who's in last place because I watch those boys and girls quite often. I think performance to me, since I've done 500 meets approximately, I just remember last week, and so I got short memory maybe, but, last week I was at Woodward Ranger at Jester Park, a trail run basically for kids. Great little meet. Then I went to a big meet, Ames, with 1,100 kids, and, that was on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was at, Central College and then Pella the next morning. So that's the kind of things I remember. That inspires me. I just can't recount all the best performances.
And 500 meets is wild. If you think about, if you time once a week, there's basically 10 weeks in the high school cross country season. You know, college football, you get 12 games in a season, and Kirk Ferentz is at what, 200 wins. So, just putting that in perspective, 500 is absolutely wild.
Well, it
Is
started out a little slow. I got into 5, 10, and now it's up to 30 a year, and that's certainly enough for me.
Me either. I like, and we'll get to the poll question later, but is there a favorite course or favorite road race that you enjoy being at the most?
That's a tough one because whatever I say, I'm thinking about all the friends I have out there that, races I did in Cedar Rapids, my hometown. Um, but I'm gonna have to say, uh, my favorite course, just because I started there, and I still think it's a great course, although I wish they used the Arboretum, is the Iowa State course. It was the first major course in the United States in 1995. I had the privilege of doing the first couple of meets with my friend and mentor, Jack Moran from Edina, Minnesota, that started the Twin Cities Marathon. So, I mean, 1995, great course, something completely different back then. So I think that was my favorite course, at least. Favorite race. I tell you, road races, I'm glad those are somewhat in my past because the passion and enthusiasm across country is just a step above anything you see in the road racing world.
Well, Cal Murdoch joining us here on the Exchange Zone. Uh, my last question, and it's more maybe of a comment, is when you look back at the 30, 35 plus years now, what are do you see the impact that you have had on the running community? Like, is that something that you see and reflect on when you go out to a meet and all the kids, the coaches, and athletes that you've made connections with? Is that something that resonates now?
Definitely, because I have a long history, it's just something about cross country and getting to know all the coaches and all the meet directors or AD and getting to be a part of it. It's almost magic to me. Um, and even though it's a lot of work, sometimes a lot of pressure, especially when I make mistakes. Um,
Which is very rare.
you don't see that, but um, you got to learn to cover up quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and in the last few years, I got to thinking, well, I got to do some more things. So my meat preparation for most timers is figured out all the details. In my case, I go to the kitchen and I bake cookies for the dishes. And then about 10 years ago, I started another little thing that I do all the places. I hand out socks to all the coaches and volunteers. I got some other little tricks to the trade. It's just been kind of fun for me. The more I put into it, I think the more I get back. And, I don't, there's many people out there and they got better gizmos, but I just like what we do and how we do it. And maybe it's all down home, but in the bottom line is if I can't do the correct time, the correct order, I get really mad at myself before anybody else gets mad at me.
I've seen it, even just I think, road race, I think maybe it was Iowa games, whatever, and he was just I could see he was upset at himself, and I'm like, you know, "We got it's okay, we got times, we'll eventually get it right." The camera catches everything, right? But I get it, you're passionate about the sport and everything it, encompasses, so we appreciate all that you do, and we know you're gonna continue to do for a few years yet.
Yeah, and it's we can't go without noting that, over the years, you and Susan have directed over $30,000 to Des Moines, Metro cross country teams. You support the middle school IATC state meet as our timer for that, and then, of course, your contributions to track guy as well. Just an outstanding career and one that's going strong and is maybe stronger than ever, and that's what's cool to see you guys continue to, move into 2025 and beyond. So, Cal, thanks for coming in, and you promised us that this will be an annual deal moving forward, so we can't wait to see you next year in here, but we'll see you on the course. I'm losing my mic, out on the course, and then I wanna give this to you and Susan, a couple sweatshirts and a couple
Oh,
hats.
well, I'll wear 'em, probably on, Thursday and the whole season, I hope.
Oh, that's
Right
awesome.
there, looking good.
Well, thanks. Thanks for joining us. So we're gonna take a 30-second, maybe to a minute break. We'll let Cal, get out of here. We have a lot of cords and stuff, so we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back to take a look at week 2 here on the Exchange Zone.
So take your mic.
Alright, we're back. That was a nice, interview and a good setup for if you'd like to, give us a 30-second to 1-minute commercial, we'll take it.
Yeah, I
Great advertising opportunity.
there, some company's logo would look great up on the screen, but Cal and Susan are 2 of the best. Just every meet, they show up, even if it's, bad weather, with a smile and your packets and cookies, socks.
Small meets to the biggest meets too. It's not
Right,
just go to the biggest meets and call it good. He like he said, he was at a Woodward Granger meet with probably 40, 50 athletes, and then 2 days later's thousands of kids at Ames.
right, and, you know, I always, think about, man, we're in trouble in a few years when we lose people like Cal, if he ever, whenever he retires, and Mike J when he
Mhm.
retires. You don't want to be the guy after the guy, and like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune, like those are just big shoes to fill. So I definitely appreciate all that they do.
On the screen are our social media accounts. We'd really appreciate if you subscribe or follow. Had a pretty good fall so far and upping these numbers, and we're appreciative of that. So, Twitter or X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. We've been putting out some short videos as well, and those have been gaining popularity, and we'll continue to do that. So give us a like or subscribe and follow, and share our content. Moving on, it is time for the quick poll, and this is a good one. I think it'll spark some debate. And I'm gonna grab my phone to post it. But our quick poll tonight is on the screen. What is the ideal number of races for a season for a high school track and field athlete? So we've got A, 4 to 6, B, 7 to 9, C, 10 to 11, and D, 12 or more. Kyle, the mathematician, has already done some math.
Yes. So if you race once a week, all season through state, that is 10, I think. I'm not good at math, and this is cross country, right? Not track.
This
Say
is cross
some
country.
track meets you're getting 4 in a night,
Yep.
so that goes by pretty quick. But
Yep.
we got Tony with 6 to 7 on the, so he combines A and B.
And these are on social media as well. We actually posted it on Instagram, and trying to get it on X right now. So if you want to go and vote on social media, we'll take a look at the results at the end of the show if I can figure out how to post this last one on Twitter. So
Lots of B's and C's so far. We got an A.
all right, moving on. We have some giveaway opportunities here on our next slide. The Track Guy movie premiere is next Sunday, and it is at 2 o'clock in Iowa City at the Englehart Theater. Uh, if you are interested in tickets, we are giving away 4 free tickets. I think it's a $15 or $20 a ticket for the Track Guy movie next Sunday at 2 p.m. If you are interested, shoot an email to bdewey@walkieschools.org. The first 4 will get a free ticket, and I will then send an electronic ticket to the email that you reach out to. So it is at 2 p.m. at the Englert Theater, not Englehart, Englert Theater next Sunday, the Track Guy movie premiere.
And just on that subject, what Mike and the foundation do for our state through scholarships, through shoes, you
Polls are
name it.
out.
I got the shirt on tonight. If you can buy a shirt, if you can donate, just because you don't know how many kids out there can use that pair of shoes or use that $500 scholarship. So if you are able, please donate or purchase apparel. There's more than shirts, hats,
Mhm.
coffee mugs, you name it. So appreciate all that Mike does.
Absolutely. So if you're interested, email there at the top of the screen. Run for Rob, a a difficult situation for a former IATC officer, uh, Rod Smith. Actually, I took over for Rob as the secretary treasurer in the IATC in 2019. Just a terrific man. Helped me a lot get my feet underneath me and learning how to deal with a secretary treasurer position at that time. Just a phenomenal person. Head coach at Woodbine in track and field from the late 90s all the way up till 2019. A pillar for the Woodbine community. He's been diagnosed with ALS, and he is battling ALS. And I wanted to share this to the community of Woodbine, but also Western Iowa, Central Iowa, for a great man, Rod Smith, and a really strong coach for Woodbine over the years. But they're going to have a benefit 5K run and a spaghetti food dinner on Sunday the 14th. And I think it's going to be a neat deal over there in Woodbine for that community. And there's a picture of Rod with his family. And Rod's battling and just a horrible disease. Rod is fighting, and we're definitely thinking and praying for Rod. On the screen next is state qualifying meets, and just about 10 days ago, the Girls Union and the Boys Association released the state qualifying meet sites. We pulled this from the Girls Union website, but they are joint, and Class 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A are on the screen. I'm sure most cross country coaches and athletes know these sites, and a lot of them are the same, which I'm a big fan of. I think as you do these meets, you go back to the people who can run a successful meet.
Yep, I'm with you
So,
there. Like, yes, it's nice to rotate a few,
mhm.
because there's people that don't want to host. There's meets that or courses that can't handle it. We just hosted a 2-team meet. We are not ready to host. I know that we are not ready to host. So, we do appreciate though that all the schools that put in to host. I see a lot of nice courses on here that I've been to or know of. So, looking forward to October already.
Yes, and with that, the Girls Union and the Boys Association, this is the first year with new directors. For cross country, on the left is Jim Dewey, and on the right is Tyler Lown. Jim Dewey with the Girls Union, Tyler with the Boys Association. They're in charge of cross country. Tyler then pivots to some other sports in the spring and summer, and Jim Dewey will continue on with track and field. So these are the new directors for these sports, and they're going to do a really good job of promoting the sport. I know the girls' union's been out already at a lot of meets they're on their pink tour. If you see that on social media, and it's a great way to publicize the sport and to continue to promote what a great sport cross country is. and Tyler out of Western Dubuque. Jim Dewey, Waukee Northwest. Tyler's from Western Dubuque. Two great administrators in those roles.
Two big shoes to fill. Andy always did an awesome job,
Yeah.
was always communicated well, and Madison, being a runner herself, was always, could had the coaches and runners what they wanted truly at heart. And so, but excited for these two. I know they're going to do a great job, and excited to see what's to come in the next few years while they're at the lead.
Couple more announcements. We need pictures at the IATC with that fancy new website. It requires a lot of high quality pictures. So if you're a photographer, and actually I've been getting a couple emails this week from photographers that have sent some pictures in, we would love to promote those pictures, not only on our website at iatrackcoaches.org, but also on this show. So if you have pictures, scan the QR code. That'll take you to our registration form for pictures. And we'd appreciate all those photographers out there to send those pictures when you have them available. And let's get to it. The Monday Move will happen tomorrow. We're going to preview who we think are the big jumps on the Monday Move later in the show. But Kyle, you marked down the big ones from last week. And I kind of think it's fun to start the show off to see those jumps from last week and how they finished this week. So go through a few of those now, and that'll be great.
Yeah, let's start with 4A girls. We had Centennial going from 12 to 4. Julia Flick and Rebecca Flick, and Ellie Blevins led the way for them in a nice meet up in Ames. Norwalk 15 to 7. Prairie unranked to 9. And Liberty also jumped in the rankings. 3A girls, Des Moines Christian 12 up to 2. We've been high on them for a while. They proved it again this week with a nice meet at Urbandale, getting the win over Indianola and Dowling. Harlan 11 to 7 after their upset of Glenwood either last week or earlier this week. Atlantic, ADM, and Humboldt all now in the top 20 as well. 2A girls, big jump here. West Marshall unranked to number 5. They had a outstanding meet last week, and then this week again as well. They'll be up at Gilbert this week, so excited to see how they stack up with some really good 2A and 3A competition. Jessup, 19 to 6. Albia 12 to 7 on the girls' side, and then 1A. Oh, I lost it on my sheet here. Martinsdale 10 to 2, and Danville 16 to 10, and Van Buren not ranked up to 11. So those are our girls' big movers. Let's see. 3A boys. We had Storm Lake 17 to 11 and Epworth 18 to 12. 2A boys, Anamosa 9 to 6. Red Oak 19 to 8. They're very big jump for their 19 to 8. And historically successful program Jessup 16 to 10. And then lastly, in the 1A side, we'll get 3 more here. Your East Sac boys, unranked all the way up to 6. The Beckman Catholic boys out of Dyersville, after upsetting Springville last week, go unranked to number 8. And then Louisa Muscatine go 18 to 10. So a lot of movement. I know as we settle into the season, though, we won't have as much movement like that. But some pretty impressive movement there in week 1 or 2. Sorry.
Great. That's good research there. Let's pause, take a look at the uniform behind us. First off, got some exciting news. We're on our last of our uniforms. So, but we do have some exciting news. We have 2 uniforms in transit right now, and we're waiting on a third to come. So we're going to be in great shape for uniforms coming up. And these next 2 that are going to come are pretty cool. But Loris, it smells still. I can smell it.
I don't know the last time.
Blood stains, mud stains. Did you wash this?
Probably not.
Man. Kyle's college uniform.
Freshman, yeah.
Cal admired it when he walked in. He liked it.
It's classic.
Yeah.
It's I think that was our freshman year, and then we upgraded to some new like actual dry fit. Your chest would hurts really bad wearing those, the material. But and I'll be at Winterset this week, so if you want to bring one to Winterset,
and I'll be at Marshalltown.
So just bring them, then you don't have to mail them. So
okay, and I've had several coaches tell me this, more than, like, 4, so that counts as several. "Well, I don't wanna put that on there and brag about, I don't want my team to be bragged on or anything like that. It's not about our team." Well, I disagree because we'd love to promote any team, small, big, east side of the state, west side of the state. Um, I think it's great publicity for your program.
And it doesn't have to be now, historically,
Yeah, yeah.
some great coaches through Loris. Matt Jones has obviously done very successful of late. Bob Schultz just retired. He's one of my greatest mentors. At state track this year, ran into Marcus Murphy, just an absolute legend. Some of the stories that I was told about Marcus when I was there. The list goes on and on and on. And we have a lot of very successful programs. We talked with Cal previously about some
Mhm.
college ranked programs right now. So, and it's what these kids deserve too. Is even me being on here, you know, yeah, it is a little awkward to give Bondurant some love, but it, I get it. But they deserve it. They want to hear their names heard. Yeah, we can't talk about them every single week, but we'll do the best that we can. So, please send us stuff or get it to us at meets.
Well said. Let's go to our first segment, big time matchups from week 2, and this was a great start to the week. A lot of these were actually Tuesday meets. And I'm going to start with Izzy Harden, a name that we've gotten accustomed to saying quite a bit here on the Exchange Zone over the last few years. But Izzy Harden of Makokata with a 9-second win over Jolie Sullivan, who is a phenomenal runner out of Davenport Central, a sophomore. They went at it at Clinton, at the Clinton Schoolhouse meet, and Jolie came back on Saturday and got second at Pleasant Valley. So Izzy Hart and Jolie Sullivan, 2 of the, top 6 to 8 runners in all classes right there, and a huge win for Izzy Harden. Nakia Oliveri, Waterloo West. We haven't talked a lot about her. I think that was her first race of the year. She went against some smaller school standouts in Lauren Krogman of Starmont and Abby Waskow of Dunkerton, 2 really good small school runners at Olwine. Oliveri pulled out the win there by 6 seconds. Gomez and Torres. We're going to talk about Torres here in a little bit, but Jesse Gomez of Denver, 16-17. Alex Torres, Vinton Shellsburg, 16-19. Seems like we've been talking about Torres for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it?
Yeah, and he had a great,
But he's been good since his first year.
correct.
And they just keep bouncing 2A, 3A, 2A,
Right.
3A.
Vinton Shellsburg, yep.
Yeah. How about this 4-person battle at Ottumwa?
5 seconds.
5 seconds separating 4 guys. Hayden Riggin of Louisa Muscatine. You mentioned their team with a big jump last week in the Monday move. Well, he gets a big win over some very quality runners in Lincoln Bainbridge of Van Buren. Cole Milliken of Pekin. Seems like there's always a Milliken out of
Mm-hmm.
Pekin. And then Trey Klett, new name on the zone, from Sigourney. 5 seconds separating those. That had to be a pretty fun race to watch. And then the last one there, a Southeastern Iowa showdown with Isaac Rankin of Knoxville, 15:59. Lucas Anderson of Sheraton, 15:59. That had to go out to the tenths of a second. I believe it was 5/10 separated that one. And Cy Stewart of Sheraton, 16:02 at Wayne.
Wow. And I've got to watch Anderson and Stewart already this
Mhm.
year. Very good runners. And then Uncle Jay for Isaac is on our staff. So we hear a lot about Isaac, but undefeated on the season, as you mentioned in the notes. So man, 3 seconds and 3 right around 16 flat. That's pretty impressive there.
Always one of my favorite segments, Welcome to the Zone, up next. And Kyle, you found some standouts here. And, I looked back at the graphics from last year's podcast with Welcome to the Zone, and you see these names populate each week. And now you look at where their names are. It's remarkable how the progression happens. But here's some new ones to the zone that we haven't talked about much, if at all.
No, let's kick it off with Allison Seidel, 3rd place for CCA at Bob Brown, behind the very outstanding freshman Mary Lyons and then Iris Dahl. obviously very,
Washington.
very good. So just to have your name up there with those two for Clear Creek Amana is a great start to your season. How about Carter Nunn? Preston Johnson's getting an
Deservedly so.
correct. And, it was John Moeller's last year as well. But how about Carter Nunn, Marshalltown? He is their number 2, also finishing second in a lot of meets. And I think Marshalltown will go 1-2 in a lot of meets. Maybe not this Thursday with the quality of field coming, but Carter Nunn, Marshalltown. And then Dawson Shile. They graduated Grady Olberding last year. Who were they going to count on? Well, it's senior Dawson Shile of Mount Vernon Lisbon leading the way, and that's why the Mount Vernon squad is ranked in the top 3, and deservedly so. How about Landon Thayer, the freshman for Logan Magnolia, getting the win at his home meet in 16:55. Bryn Mallow of Humboldt. Humboldt looks pretty solid this year with their top 3. They went 1-2-4 up at the Webster City meet. Bryn Mallow getting the win over the likes of Kiera Anderson of Gilbert, which has helped them get in the top 20. And then Jordan Bergman, we talked about that big leap for Jessup this year. I don't think they were ranked to start the season. I just read it and I already forgot. But they get the huge win, or she gets the huge win up at South Hardin.
Some good runners in that meet at Pine Lakes in South Hardin. All right. Next up, another new little segment. This is Kyle's idea. I like it. Some weeks there's going to be a new number 1.
Right.
And this coming week, we think there's 2 classes for sure. We'll stop there. 2 classes for sure that there's going to be a new number 1. Kyle, you're starting us off in Class 4A on the girls' side.
Yeah, and there might be some other classes where there could be that conversation, but these 2 is for sure where the conversation's at. I might have stole this from wrestling. I think they do a who's number 1 tournament between the number 1 and 2 ranked people, or at least the title for the segment. But let's start 4A girls. Pleasant Valley and Waukee Northwest. Pleasant Valley just upset Johnston at their home course.
They were number 1
by
Johnston.
29. Yes. Yep. Johnston currently number 1, PV 2, Northwest 3. Very much in play for one of these. Well, PV most likely to take the lead. PV and Northwest have not raced each other yet. So there's the argument of who should be the new number 1, as PV has taken down Johnston. It was by 29 points. Yes, we know it's not Johnston's full lineup, but I do think in some capacity you have to rank them off where they are now. Now I get, let's say Des Moines Christian, Caleb Tenpass. He hasn't raced yet. It's so hard. It's not, there's no injury report like they have to do for the Big 12 now before football games.
Could have that.
Right. So you have to throw all those different variables in. But with what we've seen, I do think one of those teams deserves that number 1 ranking. I personally am putting Pleasant Valley currently at number 1.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, defending state champions, number 1, they beat the number 1 preseason team head to head. So I think that's fair. Sarah Fode and Maddie Milage were really good. And then doesn't it seem like every year PV, they're number 3 through 5 and 6, just always set up 15 to 20, whether that's a state meet, this type of meet. It's just remarkable how they can put it all in one pack and have those 2 front runners.
Right. It reminds me a lot of like the Cedar Falls boys program, and obviously Sarah Foad, her first high school 5K. Again, I'm sure she's done road races, but
pretty impressive for a debut.
4th place finish in a field like that.
Yeah.
I agree. And Northwest deserves to be in that conversation without question. I think they won the Ames meet and they won the Ankeny meet so far this year. So undefeated. Very close race with Ankeny Centennial. But again, I'm going PV is my new number 1. We'll find out tomorrow between noon and 3.
I think it will be PV. And Northwest, showcase that depth. 15 points and a perfect JV score. They put 6 girls in the top 20 in the varsity race. And, keep in mind, they're probably, they are without probably their 1 or 2 or 3 runner there with Emmy Danny still. So we'll see if she gets back into the lineup. But a great performance by the freshman Lainey Sundet for Northwest. 1A boys. We talked about it 2
Yeah.
weeks ago. It's gonna be a wild class. Lake Mills, the two-time defending champs, um, they got started this week, and, they had a nice showing. First off, their top 2 runners, Thompson and Rogney, are really good. I think I agree with you. I think they might be the favorites to win the 1A individual title or go 1-2 or 2-3, 1-3, whatever it might be. Maybe a little bit farther back with their pack. Then Ankeny Christian comes out of, well, not nowhere, but we knew they were in the mix.
Mhm.
But they took it to Earlham. Now Earlham was without their number 5 runner from the Johnston meet, so that, and especially in 1A, is a huge deal.
Correct.
But Ankeny Christian is the real deal and might be the most they are the most complete team in 1A. Maybe don't have the front runner that Earlham and Lake Mills have,
Alex Davis is still very
and
good.
Alex Davis is really good. Then on Saturday, you got excited about what you saw from
Jeez,
Riverside.
It's Council Bluffs.
They go 1, 2, 3
1,
in a
2,
4A
3.
meet with
Jeez.
with some good 3A programs, and they're a very complete team.
I agree.
These look like 2A, 3A teams.
I agree. Especially when I saw Earlham in person. I got to see Ankeny Christian last year in person. I'm sure I'll see him again this year. But you're exactly right that these teams, enrollment wise, don't belong in 2A, but competing wise could compete just fine in 2A, and even with some 3A schools for sure. But right now, I think all 4 of these probably have a 25% chance at winning come October.
Who do you think's won tomorrow?
One tomorrow, man.
I'm going ACA.
That's a good one. Riverside looked good.
Who is higher ranked coming in? I'm going to pull that up. Well, Lake Mills was number 1.
Yep.
I'm not sure if what happened will deserve them to drop.
Right.
But Ankeny Christian kind of flexed their muscles the other day out at WCV.
Yeah. I think I got to go Ankeny Christian
I think I'm going that too.
As number 1, but
this is going to be fun.
Well, the rankings committee's probably together right now.
Give a live look in at their spreadsheet. That's
Ooh.
cheating. All right, let's move on here. And, Kyle, we had the show last week, the preseason award show, and we showcased the top recruits in a great segment. But then I go home and I'm like, there's way more seniors that are big time runners that haven't gotten the attention that they deserve. And nothing against them. The people we showcased last week are tremendous. And so are these kids here. So I want to highlight some really, really good seniors that are going to make a lot of college programs very happy for the next 4 or 5 years. And that starts with Scarlett Barnes. Talk about someone who's been on the show for a long time. Scarlett Barnes of Osage. She opened up with a 52nd win at Newman Catholic, 5th in 2024, 10th in 23. So 2 top 10 finishes the last couple years for Barnes. And oh, by the way, a 446 1500 and 1015 PR in track and field in the 15 and 3K. Chloe Glosser of Pekin, they're at the top in the red uniform. Off to a hot start already, 2 early season wins. I forgot, 3rd last year in 1A. 957 and a 3rd place finish at the Drake Relays this year in the 3K, and a 445 PR and a runner-up 1A finish to Lily Denton in the 1500. A very quality 1-2 here with Osage and Pekin. Carson Oberender, mentioned her a couple times already. 9th last year in 1A. I forgot that she was a top 10 deck finisher last year for Martinsdale St. Mary. She's off to a blazing start this year. Currently ranked number 3 in Class 1A. You've got the boys, and equally as impressive.
I think so. We talked about this one a little bit already. Isaac Rankin of Knoxville, undefeated on the season.
He went undefeated till to the state qualifying meet last year, right?
You're right. Yeah, because
at Pella.
He was at our site.
Yep.
11th a year ago. Again, Uncle Jay's hyping him up, so we'll see if he can continue that this
Who's
week.
Uncle Jay?
Jay Harvey. He's on our staff at Bondurant.
Is that John's? Who is that just popped up there? John's dog?
John
John Stud.
Isaac's a dog.
That's all right. John's dog, I said. All right, go ahead.
Isaac gonna cook at state. Love it. We'll continue onward with how about Gavin Weber of Webster City?
He looks good early.
Algona, sorry. Ran at Webster City, took 4th place behind the big 3 from Gilbert.
Mhm.
Those 3 went 4, 5, 6 at the state meet last year. So he's cooking, I guess, as we will call it. And then we've mentioned this guy a ton, Alex Torres of Vinton Shellsburg, runner-up in 2A last year, 2A state champion in the 1600. He's one of those guys that you just mentioned is going to make a college program very happy, but he's off to a strong start this year as well.
Runner-up last year in 2A. He's up in 3A this year.
Yep.
Going to make the 3A field better from an individual standpoint for sure. 2A state champion in the 1600. I mean, 419 PR, really quality runner there out of Vinton Shellsburg. It's time for the Monday move. We need like a little song for the Monday move. But that's been exciting, the Monday move. I think that's starting to gain traction across the state. And Kyle, you're starting off with the girls. You've got some big movers coming up this week.
Finally, Boone. We got to see him race. We've been talking about
more surprises about Boone coming.
Oh, all right. We've been talking about this team for 2 years. We knew this team was coming. Yes, it was 1A Madrid that they were only 2 points back of, but that's a really good number 1 ranked team in 1A. So Madrid. Next up is Trainer. We should have people like guess the logos before we go through these.
Ooh.
That'd be a challenge. But Trainer, they actually just beat number 10 Glenwood out of Class 3A, so expect Trainer to move up tomorrow. Collins Maxwell, they upset number 9 English Valleys.
Big upset this week.
And then Epworth Western Dubuque.
Yes.
Obviously, the boys' side with Nauman gets a lot of hype. Girls' team beat number 19 Washington. Expect them to move up in the 3A rankings. And then Indianola as well. Big week for them. Oh, sorry. That's boys. Go. Yeah, I'll let you go that one.
I want to chime in on West Dubuque girls. Very impressive pack, Kyle. They had a second place finish at Bob Brown, 54-second spread, which included 3 freshmen in that top 5 for West Dubuque. As you said, they took down Washington. And how about Indianola? Did we mention them already this year?
I don't think so.
As a sleeper, I thought we did. Gosh, I hope we did. Because, yeah, we did when we previewed the super sophomore with Robidoux. Anyways, 24-42 on Saturday at Urbandale versus number 4 in the perennial powers, Dowling Catholic. Now, this meet always is closer with Dowling. They make a big jump when they head to Marshalltown. So I'm not fully counting Dowling out, but just a statement win. Reed Robbins, 1547. Kiefer Barnes, 1552. They go 1-2 in this one. And watch out for the Indianola Indians. They're in at 10 right now. We were talking before the show. I think they're top 3 for sure. Maybe number 2 behind Cedar Falls.
Yes, Cedar Falls. I know you mentioned Kennedy. I don't know if we can put Kennedy up there.
No, they lost.
Man.
But they didn't have Adam Gray this week.
True.
On Saturday at Linmar, and Linmar didn't score the meet, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I think Indianola is our number 2 team when the Monday move comes out tomorrow between 12 and 3.
All right.
The Ames meet. I was there live. I'll let you start. You've got a bone to pick, and it's not Ames's fault.
Whose fault?
Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
you're tired of it.
I am. And we've talked about this 100 times, but
every year.
And Gilbert hosts this week. You have the chance to do the best thing ever.
Tell them what you do.
All you have to do on the first lap is go up around the awards board, and we have an accurate course. I get it. Last year, our kids set the school record. I'm like, sweet, like awesome. And then come to find out, it's like 60 meters short.
I know you get upset about it as a former staffer there. However, this year, I don't think it was as short as years past. 3.07 to 3.08, and then you got mad at me and said it's still short.
Yeah.
Okay. I know, but last year it seemed like crazy fast. But I compared the times from last year, this year, and they're about the same.
And especially, like,
So
for
maybe it isn't.
a premier meet, a
Yeah.
premier course, and the course doesn't change. It's not like a golf course where you have to reline it every year. Like, the course stays
Go
the same.
around the scoreboard once.
Right. That's all you got to do. And we
So
did
then
it.
you cut across the start line?
We did it for then you just,
Okay.
yes, you have that whole wide stretch to cut back down. But we did it for Iowa Games cross country. It was spot on.
It's a state qualifying meet course this year.
It is.
Yep.
And Gilbert's hosting that one. So
Challenge for Coach Thomas,
Coach Koutman,
and Ian Smith, the AD.
we'll find out.
Okay. All right, but I was there. We've already talked about Northwest. Centennial continuing to impress, Kyle. They ran incredible with Blevins. You talked about Blevins and Flick.
Yep.
They were both in the top 5, and they look really good.
They did.
This is a legitimate trophy contending team in 4A. Them and Northwest were the class of this field by far. Early on, though. Now, after that, I was intrigued by what I saw. Norwalk showed up again on a big stage, bigger than last week, which was impressive for them. West Des Moines Valley looked really good. A huge improvement from the week before, taking down Waukee, and Waukee ran better too. So I think those 3 teams had a stellar day. Great to see Mount Vernon Lisbon there. I talked to their coach, Coach Swart, before the meet. Hats off to him, coming all the way over to Ames, 2-hour drive, going up against the CIML schools, girls and boys. It only makes you better, in my opinion.
They held their own very respectably.
Yep. And then on the boys' side, this race was just, first off, Preston Johnson of Marshalltown. He took that thing from the beginning and just ran away with it. And there's some good runners in this field. You talk about his teammate, Tegan Kralik of Norwalk is a very good runner. Centennial's got good runners, and Mount Vernon Lisbon's got good runners. Northwest has good runners. He just took it from the start.
Wow.
But Northwest took the win. Waukee Northwest 80-82, a 2-point win over Centennial. Norwalk was in the mix there. 15 points behind them was Mount Vernon Lisbon. We're going to talk about 3A boys in a little bit. But all in all, a really strong meet at Ames.
Yeah, let's head to Bob Brown.
We got 3 meets, Bob Brown and then PV to finish.
All right. Bob Brown, Solon girls win that one pretty comfortably. They're off
It's
to
a solid team.
Strong start this year. We already talked about Epworth's upset for second place over Washington. Bulk of this meet was definitely maybe more 1A, 2A. But Monticello, number 18, edges out Tipton by 4 points. So maybe look to Tipton to slide into the rankings this week. And both took down number 15, Cascade. On the boys' side, this team has looked really strong to start the year. Clear Creek, Amana, taking down Western Dubuque. It was a 10/12 in the rankings, so followed suit there. Followed by number 17, Solon, also another program. Not rebounded, I guess, but seems like they're getting back to form for maybe a couple years ago. And then we head to those 2A, 1A schools. 2A, number 6, Anamosa, and then it was followed by number 14, Tipton. After them was 1A's number 11, Springville, which all of those also took down 2A, number 15, Monticello. So good meet over at Bob Brown. It's just again, I like those medium-sized meets that involve those 2A, 3A, and 1A schools.
Tough course, I think. The times there are never real fast. Quentin Nauman, the winner, 15:40 something. He isn't gonna have to put the pedal to the metal probably for a while.
Probably not.
We lost our signal. Did my computer shut off?
Must have.
Are we good, Brock?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I don't think we need it.
Nope.
Pleasant Valley, our last in-depth recap. City High on the girls' side. We mentioned Pleasant Valley already. Good chance to take a look at City High. 15 back of Johnston there. The preview of number 1 and number 2 with Johnston and PV. But City High at number 5 had a nice meet. 6th place, Dubuque Senior and Cedar Rapids Prairie also rounded out the top 10 there. But how about Emma Chesterman? We've talked about her as, one of the favorites in the 4A girls race. I think if you win the PV meet, you're definitely in the running to be a favorite at the state meet, and that's what Chesterman did. As a quality meet there at Crow Creek, she gets a 7-second win in an outstanding field. On the boys' side, similar to the Ames meet, no blowouts, a very close competition. City High, number 2 coming in, they get the win at 117. They were without Maxwell McDowell, so we gotta keep that in mind. That's gonna really help the Little Hawks, when he gets back in the lineup, if he does. Prairie, 8 back, huge improvement from week to week. I say it, I'm a broken record. This Prairie program is legit. Coach Schwartz, it doesn't matter who they lose, and his staff, they're always gonna be there, and here they are, 8 back of number 2. Carrizales, Owen Miller, and Kyle Johnson, a really formidable top 3. How about Bettendorf? What a showing for the
Yeah.
Bulldogs. 134 points, so just 17 back from the win. AJ Wiley, 3rd, and how about Andrew Heaton, a name we haven't talked about for Bettendorf? He finished 4th. And then Pleasant Valley. I didn't know what to expect from this PV team. For the first time in, 20-some years last year, they didn't qualify for the state meet. That's gotta sting for the Spartans, and I'm telling you right now, Kyle, this is a dark horse, not they're gonna qualify. This is a dark horse podium team. Mark
Ooh,
my words. Scary team,
wow.
alright? You've got Jonah Whitson, but how about Foad and Nep? Those
Yep.
are some names that have been around. Then, they had a sophomore in the JV run very well. If he woulda ran varsity, they get 2nd in this meet. So watch out for PV. I think they have a chance to have a very good team this year.
All right, I like that one.
All right.
Good research there too.
Yep, some quick hitters. And
Lots.
we're gonna get to the big 3, and we're signing off.
All right. Am I leading off or you?
You are up first.
All right. How about in 1A, we got some upsets with IKM Manning and Boyer Valley on the boys' side taking down number 17 St. Albert. We talked about the battle with Boone and Madrid, but in that race also was Woodward Granger upsetting Panorama. And how about Ava Fleschner?
Good to see her back.
Back after some
And running well.
a lengthy absence. So good for her. We've talked about West Marshall. They took down number 20 in 3A North Polk. Senior Addie Thompson led the way for them. 3 through 5 are all freshmen, just like that Epworth Western Dubuque team you were talking about, and why they are ranked in the top 5. And then they also took down number 6 Jessup in that field. Big gap from there to 1A number 5 Hudson. 1A upset. We got number 10 Louisa Muscatine taking down number 7
Another
Van
good
Buren.
week for Louisa.
Your Hayden Riggin of Louisa Muscatine getting the win there. Decorah, I thought, looked strong.
Yes.
Both genders there.
Yes.
I'll let you take this one.
Okay, so Decorah, this is a team we haven't talked a lot about. Their girls look strong. I think they're gonna have a nice year. However, their boys team, and I'm gonna talk about 3A boys real quick. When you have a power like Gilbert, who's been dominant for 3+ years, and then before that, they had another string of runs, and then it got kinda separated. They're gonna make everybody else better in 3A. It's just natural. I always think of, like, Dowling Catholic in football, in the early 2010 to 2020 when they went on a 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 10 winning titles. What happened? Southeast Polk Valley emerged, and they continue to push. I think we're starting to see the beginning of that in 3A.
I think so too.
And Decorah has a lot of depth. Now, I'm not saying these teams are gonna beat Gilbert. They're still locked up. But you're going to see teams get a lot better because of Gilbert, and it's a huge compliment to Gilbert. But you got Decorah, who's got a tremendous team. You've got Mount Vernon Lisbon, who looks really good this year. They go over and battle with some really good 4A teams. You've got Pella, who only lost to Gilbert by 12. Now, it looks a little closer than it really was, probably smaller meet. Split times were pretty large that might look different at a bigger meet. But you've got those 3 teams that are starting to gain traction and get a lot better because of teams like Gilbert, and then you've got the, teams like your own team that are getting better because you constantly race Gilbert.
Right.
So it's just like a great thing for Class 3A.
I think, yeah, it has made everybody, like you talked about, better,
And Sioux Center. Sorry,
correct.
I got
Yes.
they're coming up.
That was the one in my head too, but
Yes.
you're right. It makes everybody else better. Uh, coming into the season, everyone could have just conceded, Gilbert's going to win. Okay, we're going to go for second. We're going to go for third or whatever. And, these teams, you just said it. Yes, it's still going to take a massive undertaking to upset Gilbert, but these teams aren't just throwing in the towel because they know they have to compete that hard to still get on the podium with
Yep.
how good these teams are. Pella looked a ton better than they
looked
did
really,
week one.
really improved this week.
Exactly. So,
But they rose to the challenge. They had Gilbert, number one. I think Gilbert might be the best team in all classes, them or Cedar Falls, in their own course, and they rose to the challenge. Like that.
Right.
That's what you do to get better, and I think we'll continue to see that. Sioux Center, first off, their girls, the real deal. You talk about Pella girls making teams better. This Sioux Center squad put on a show at the Iowa Great Lakes meet up in Northwest Iowa. 5 in the top 7 this week. 5 in the top 7. This is a team that in track and field put a 4x8 on the track that ran under 9:20, and all of them are back next year. Audrina Jones is the leader of that group. Sioux Center, I think they came in, fourth or fifth. They're in that mix. Their boys as well.
Yes,
had a great showing. So those are my quick hits.
Man, let's go back to Unity Christian. I feel like we had this conversation last year. The mystery team. Maybe we just don't talk about them until it gets closer to October, but both ranked like in the top 10, 11, and just looking at the results, you'd say that's not a top 10, top 11 team on both genders, but
you never know.
You never know.
They got a lot back.
They did. We talked about Gilbert, running up at Webster City, near perfect score up there. And then Ballard and Waverly Shellrock upset number 16 Nevada. Now Nevada was not full strength up there, but still I think Ballard looks very much improved from a year ago. How about this one? The Linmar meet, 4A meet. What happened? No team scores. Why?
I don't know. Are you trying? You're trying to get me to get fired up?
Is it supposed like I guess I don't. If it was an error or
I don't think it was. And there was other meets this week that weren't scored, not just Linmar. And maybe it was scored and they just didn't put them in the results. But we are in week 2. Doesn't cross country have a scrimmage opportunity?
Yes.
I don't understand why you would have a meet ever really that's not scored, but then let alone a lot of those schools have already ran in a scored meet.
Right. And
so then he goes unscored.
If I'm 4A, am I diving through it, or especially if I'm a competitive team in 4A and doing the points myself? Absolutely. If I'm the casual fan, am I going to dive through all those points? I'm going to look at the results and no. So, I don't get it either. Like you talked about in week 2, are you just going to not put the points up on the scoreboard at a football game?
I don't get it.
I don't either. And if it was an accident, sorry.
I just don't think it's good for the sport either.
Right.
I mean,
especially when you're trying to rank teams.
It's hard for the rankers.
Right.
But
they already have to look through so many meets and to dive in like that. But anyway, we move on. The Des Moines Christian girls, another good meet for them, upsetting number 16 and 18 in 4A Indianola. Maybe not upset because they are ranked 3 now in 3A. We already talked about Indianola and Pella, so already threw all the quick hits on my end.
All right, let's get ready. You know what? Before we preview this week's meets, let's look at the results from the Twitter poll / Instagram poll. So 4 to 6 meets in a season. What is the ideal number of races for a season? 4 to 6 was 16%. 7 to 9 was the winner at 66%. 10 to 11, 12%, and then 12 or more was the lowest. So majority thought 7 to 9. Is that where you fall?
I think so. again, if you race every week, that's 10. Um,
Let's
you
see
know,
what the Twitter that was on Instagram. Let me pull up Twitter.
I think that allows you
Yep,
to,
72% for 7 to 9. So, here's what I'll say. I'm not a cross country coach, it's coming from a track and field coach, but I still think it's kind of similar. I do think that there is some, importance in who you have and some differentiation on your team. So you might have a kid that he might need or she might need 12 races to get in shape because they didn't have a great summer, whereas person B might need only 5 to 7 races to be ready to rock and roll by the end of the year. But then the tricky thing with that is you talk about team chemistry. Sitting a
Mhm.
kid out, is that really best for your team culture, team chemistry? How do you spin that to the other kids? So it's a tricky rope, in my opinion.
Right. And
But
especially high school. Like, one, team dinners are the main reason kids go out, but two, going to meets and with your friends, like, that's what it's about. They want opportunities to race. So that's why I don't like the 4 to 6. I agree with the crowd tonight.
yeah, heck, when I ran cross country and we had a really good team, and I mean, I think I raced probably 12, 10 to 12,
There were
and
some
nobody thought anything of it. Now
no,
there's all the science and training, and now I mean, most colleges are only racing 3 leading into the NCAA championships, maybe 4
right,
at the big time level.
right. That's
Um,
yeah,
so I mean, it's a fine line to deal with. I think personally, Kyle, it's best to run as a team in cross country and build that culture. So, all right, the big 3 this week. We always start with Marshalltown. Uh, the I'm gonna say it's I think it's the biggest regular season meet in our state. I think I say that every year. I'm not sure if there's another meet that can maybe go up against it. Could be Fort Dodge, the regular season Fort Dodge meet, but I'm gonna say Marshalltown, uh, for sure early season. On the girls' side, you're gonna see Northwest and Johnston. Huge matchup on Thursday at Marshalltown. Those 2 teams probably gonna be ranked 2nd and 3rd. We'll see if there's any separation there. Then what I'm excited to see, Kyle, on that girls' side is the battle for those next spots, the jockeying positions. Centennial not in attendance. Dubuque Senior's not there, so we're gonna look at Cedar Falls. Can they make a big jump this week on the girls' side with Charlie Gall? DCG, I'm gonna call them a dark horse, as was PV's boys team. DCG, watch out for them this week. Haven't seen their full lineup. They had their home meet. I think they were kind of doing some weird things with Messerly and the team. I'm not sure if they had everyone running. So I think they're gonna come out ready to go. Valley, West Des Moines, Norwalk, and Waukee. So who's gonna be in the battle for 3rd there? Maybe creep up on a Northwest or Johnston. Then on the boys' side, hey, we're gonna see Cedar Falls, Indianola, Dowling. 1, 2, 3. I think that's probably 1, 2, 3. City High maybe in the mix.
Cities might be ahead of Dowling now.
Yeah,
You think
but
Northwest?
don't sleep on
Yeah.
Dowling after that Urbandale meet. But then you've got that next batch, I think Northwest, Centennial, and Norwalk. They've raced twice, or no, Northwest wasn't at Centennial, but they just raced Thursday. We'll see how they stack up with Cedar Falls and Indianola.
So always a good one,
Mhm.
that's for sure. And another always good one. Same day, correct? Both are
Yeah.
Thursday. Is
Highway 30.
Gilbert, Highway 30 will be packed. This is the premier 3A, 2A meet, and even you get some 1A schools in there as well. But across the board, you got Gilbert, ADM, Pella, Clear Creek, Amana makes the trek over. Forest City and Clear Lake make the journey down. You got Earlham, Pella Christian, Solon comes all the way over from Eastern Iowa. Van Meter, Winterset, Madrid, Boone, and West Marshall. Uh,
Wow.
some of those have both squads ranked. Some have girls, some have boys. But boys side, we get to see Pella and Gilbert again. Exciting to see. ADM Pella just raced. They'll race again. Now we get to see Clear Creek Amana with some of these central Iowa teams and how they stack up since they race maybe more of an eastern Iowa schedule. Girls side, Gilbert, ADM, see how they stack up with a
Mhm.
quality 2A team like Forest City and Pella Christian. See how they can mix up. Solon has looked especially dominant. Where do some of these teams again mix up with them? Van Meter Forest City will be that nice 2A battle. Both of those teams ranked in the top 10 up there. And West Marshall, cannot forget about West Marshall. And then finally, we get to see how Boone stacks up. We saw him against Madrid. And sorry, I can't forget Winterset. They have
Mhm.
looked strong to start the year too. We'll see how they stack up with teams like ADM, Gilbert, Solon. That Solon Winterset battle on the girls' side is probably the one I'm most looking forward to.
I'm excited to see Madrid girls up against these
Right,
teams. I think they've got a chance to have a very good team. Obviously, the favorite right now in 1A.
right. How about Tim Thomas?
Yep.
Uh,
And before we start with that, it's worth noting that Tim Thomas, the meet, the name or the name, man, we've been talking a lot. The name of the meet, Tim Thomas Invitational, is named after Tim, and he's dealing with this a severe health issue at this point in time as well. And the father of Aaron Thomas, the head coach at Gilbert, and Tim is in good spirits and battling right now as well. And it's worth mentioning him and hit just a huge impact in our state as a coach, an official.
mhm.
Um, Very heavily involved in the IATC and the IATO, the Iowa Track Officials Association. Just a tremendous person too. So thinking of Tim and his meetup in Ridgeview is a big one.
I'll second that about Tim, and yes, the meet as well. You get a good mix of teams again with 2A, 3A. Yes, you got Sioux City North for the from the 4A side of things.
Kuma.
Kuma, timeout.
Yeah, I knew we
14:30
forgot
at
it.
Augie. I should have
14:30.
put that in the quick hits. And
Yeah,
that's got to be an accurate course. I don't think it's a
gotta be.
3
It's
mile.
a fast one. It's a fast
Correct.
course.
I mean, that's one of the coolest meets in the world, but
14:30
for a sophomore,
from Sioux City North.
I don't think either of us picked him in our
No.
individual picks. I think he just threw his hat in the ring.
Yeah.
So uh, I don't know if he'll race this one or not after a
Mhm.
big performance like that. But we got Sioux Center on the girls' side. They just ran extremely well. MOC Floyd Valley, Heelan's having a good season, and then we got Okoboji. A lot maybe more in the 1A side of things with Riverside, Oakland. Excited to see how they might stack up with teams, like a Sioux Center in 3A. St. Edmund, Sioux Central is ranked very high in Class 1A. I think they're number 5. Manson Northwest Webster, IKM Manning, Ridgeview. You just get, and a lot of these teams, this was a very, very, very good meet last year. And I think a lot of the teams lost a lot of their firepower. The MVA, CAOU,
Mhm.
schools like that. But still going to be a very, very good meet. Just so many teams, very quality meet. So it's going to be a good one at the Tim Thomas meet.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to looking back at these meets next weekend, and we hope you will join us on Sunday at 7:30, our new time here on the IATC Exchange Zone. Once again, if you have pictures, send them our way. If you want the 4 tickets or a giveaway for tickets for the Track Guy premiere on Sunday, email bdewey@waukeeschools.org, and happy to give those away. Ultimately, have a great week. Good weather again, and best of luck this week. And we will be back next week here on the Exchange Zone. Good luck.